Mike, just for people watching at home and listening to this who might not be aware of the grading system. So basically ahead of next year, every club across Super League, the Championship and League One will be given a grading based on 5 categories: on-field performance, fandom, finances, stadium and community. With the top 12 teams, they're expected to be in the top flight for next season. London, at the start of this year, were given a provisional grading of 24th. Now, Mike, I suppose here's your chance. You're live on Sky Sports News. Try and tell us exactly what a team like London, what they bring to the top flight.
Well, I suppose, Jenna, if you look at the things that got taken away, a couple of jewels of the crown of London have been taken away in terms of the criteria, which has really hurt us. That's essentially put us down in 24th. And before I start on that, Jenna, we've got to look at ourselves as well, and we've got to improve. We're not denying that. Fandom's got to be better. Performance has got to be better. We want to build and we want to be part of the future Super League. But at the same time, something that we are doing at the minute, which has been ignored, is the players that we produce. And the ratings do not give you any pluses for producing your own players or having an elite academy, which costs us a lot of money. Everything costs a lot more money to do in London. So the owners had to factor that in. We're still going to produce our own players. We've had to do a different route, though. And the other one is our catchment. We have the biggest catchment in probably world rugby. Yet we're not given the maximum points for that either. So in the past, those two things have heavily gone in London's favour, and they've been taken away. So there are things that we've got to improve on, Jenna. Absolutely, and we're up for that challenge. But to have those things taken away, I think that's really poor in terms, and to not be considered. I think there needs to be more joined up thinking between the IMG proposals and the RFL and what we can offer. So having London in the competition is huge. We should have the capital club, absolutely. But I said it at the launch, Jen, and you was there. Rugby League doesn't need London, it needs a strong London. But a strong London requires everybody to sit down around the table and work out how we fit that, because we do not fit the criteria currently. The criteria is based on 3 years, and probably the 3 worst years of the club, which we feel is unfair as well. So I think a more broader approach needs to be considered. London have achieved everything, Jenna, absolutely everything in the game. We filled Wembley in '99. We've had massive fan bases at home. We're now producing our own players. It's done everything that has ever been asked of London Broncos. It's never been done at any one single time, though. And it's, for me, the challenges for the game is how we pull that together and make that happen right now.
And just a word on the club's owner, David Hughes, who year after year invests his hard-earned money into this club purely because he simply adores the sport of rugby league.
What David puts into the club is absolutely phenomenal, Jenna, and I think it needs to be recognised more. We can't do this as a sport without him and his investment. And I think that needs to be protected as well. To run anything in London costs a lot more than what it does anywhere else in the country. And you see Arsenal Football Club now, it's taken them 15 years to rebuild to get back to the top. After buying their own stadium, they had to kind of take a step back because it cost them that much money, and they're only just competing again at the top of the English football pyramid. And you look at us as well, it's the costings of this club are huge, but with central distribution year on year from Super League and being in Super League, we massively support that. So we as a game, I think we all should be very thankful for David Hughes, because there's players currently playing in NRL, in Super League and in Championship that wouldn't be playing the game if it wasn't for him and his investment in this club.
Yeah, Mike, really well said there. I personally know that, having a London side in Super League is important. But John, do you believe that the competition is a better one with a London Broncos in Super League?
Well, can you not help but be enthused by listening to Mike there talk about the long-term ambition to make rugby league in London a passionate hotbed for the game, and the amount of investment that is taken, the exorbitant costs to get that going, and the commitment from individuals like David Hughes to get that going. It just seems just so sharp and pointy that you say, right, London are up and now they're out. So I think London incredibly valuable. I just look over to the NRL and I think of the Melbourne Storm and how much they've brought to their competition and how the NRL just went, look, we're backing this because we believe in expansion and we want to expand. So Melbourne Storm will get time. And the IMG and the grading system, which is so new and feels so alien to us all. This was always the elephant in the room, was the fact that London were coming up with the inevitability that they're going back down. And it's fine when London are losing all the games on the field, but if London win a few more games now and end up maybe second, third from bottom, it's going to be a very embarrassing situation in the first year of the grading. I support Rugby League in London. I think it's an incredible asset for us, but there's 11 men who sit round a table, 11 owners who sit round a table and all have a vote, and it's all very democratic, smoke-filled room, like your clandestine sort of meetings where they decide where the game goes. We don't have any say. I don't have any say. Like, the governing body doesn't have any say in where the game goes. The 12 owners decide what happens. They wanted to do the grading. So they've decided to go down a grading route off the back of what recommendations from IMG, who've basically got a swanky spreadsheet that you put information in and it tells you who's viable and who's not. Like, the lack of clarity on the grading system flabbergasts me. The lack of flex in the grading system flabbergasts me. The lack of transparency, and what we are doing is fumbling into a situation where we're going to have very vocal people like David Hughes, who spent 15, 20 million quid in the game of rugby league, who's then alienated by the sport. And I refuse to say that that's a good thing, because we've got clubs in our league now who are just surviving. They're taking the central deal, they're getting rid of the players, they're just surviving because they know they're going to get in. And if that's right, Jenna, then the sport's done. It's finished. It's just finished. If we're going to allow teams to get rid of players, just survive, and then limp in, and then we've got huge investments from other clubs, where's the fairness in all of that? And it's not sport. We have to be striving to be better, to be bigger, to be stronger, to be more influential, to get more interest in the game. And if we're not trying to do that, then we're just surviving. And when you're doing that, it's just a slow death. So let's have a crack.
Very strong words there from Jon Wilkin. Thank you. Just before I let you go, Mike, listening to everything that Jon has just said there, I mean, what changes? Can you see any changes being brought in the next 12 months that could potentially save London? I mean, how do you see the future of London Broncos? What happens?
There has to be change because we don't fit the criteria, Jenna. It's as simple as that. I think criteria is important because we must up standards. We must generate better fandom. We must have great stadiums. We must better our product. And we're all game for that. But London just sits outside that criteria, clearly, based on the last 3 years, because we are not the 24th. We're not ranked 24th. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows it's ridiculous that we don't get full points for catchment. Everybody knows that the player pool down here is massive for the future of our game. But there's a bit of silence out there at the minute. It doesn't fit for us. We need some adaptability there, absolutely, for the grading and the future to support London Rugby League.
Mike, Jon, no doubt this will be a topic that we will continue to discuss as the season unfolds. I really appreciate both your time this afternoon on the Rugby League verdict. Mike, I wish you all the very best for the rest of the year, and no doubt we'll get you back on the Rugby League verdict very soon.